Welcome to the Explainer. All right, let's just dive right in, shall we? Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, getting out of bed, and making one absolutely radical decision. You're just not going to use your smartphone for the next 30 days. No Instagram, no TikTok, no YouTube Shorts, no endless, mind-numbing scrolling, and for sure, no checking notifications every 3 minutes. Today, we're going to look at the actual science and psychology behind what happens when you completely drop the smartphone for a month. We'll see how it biologically and literally transforms your brain and body. So really ask yourself, could you survive 30 days without your smartphone? Sounds kind of impossible, right? I mean, for most of us, our phone has basically become a digital extension of our physical body. We use it to wake up, to work, to study, to talk to our families, and to entertain ourselves during literally every spare second of the day. But what if you just severed that connection? What would actually happen to your day-to-day happiness? Well, to understand why this is so insanely hard, just think about the number 100. The average person checks their phone nearly 100 times every single day. Just think about that pace for a second. That is a frantic, almost erratic level of checking. It leads to hours upon hours of just staring at screens. We're constantly unlocking, swiping, refreshing, locking, over and over again from the very second we open our eyes until we finally fall asleep. Now, the biological reason behind all this repetitive behavior boils down to one little thing: dopamine. It's the chemical in your brain that makes you feel rewarded. Every single notification you get, every like on a photo, every new text message, it all delivers a tiny, super potent burst of dopamine. Over time, your brain starts craving these constant micro-rewards. It creates this deeply ingrained habit loop that feels almost unbreakable, mostly because, well, your brain is literally being trained to seek out that next digital hit. Okay, so let's break this down. Week 1, the withdrawal. If you actually put the phone away, I'm not gonna lie, those first few days are gonna be the absolute hardest part of the whole journey. Your brain is suddenly completely deprived of its usual instant digital rewards. You're effectively cutting off the dopamine supply it has grown totally accustomed to, and you will likely experience that super weird visceral phenomenon of the phantom pocket reach. You know exactly that feeling, right? Picture a 2D flat character in a choppy, old-school animation, just repeating the exact same looping motion of reaching into an empty pocket over and over again. Just a jittery, 2-frame animation of endless searching. Yeah, that's your brain on autopilot. You're going to feel anxious, restless, and hit a massive wall of constant boredom. You might even panic about missing an important message. Honestly, some people genuinely experience symptoms that mirror clinical withdrawal, simply because that stream of instant gratification has been abruptly shut off. But hey, take a breath, because things do eventually slow down. By day 1, the shock of withdrawal hits you hard. By day 3, your brain is actively craving those dopamine rewards. But by day 7, the discomfort actually starts to fade. Your brain slowly begins to adapt to the silence. That constant nagging urge to look down at a screen begins to quiet down. And as that urge fades, you start looking up. You start noticing the real world again, the sounds around you, the people you're actually sharing space with. Simple moments begin to hold meaning again because your mind is, well, finally present. Moving right along to week 2, focus returns. So, by stepping away from the rapid-fire jumping between short videos, fleeting posts, and those constant alerts, your brain finally gets a desperately needed break. For years, smartphones have trained us to shift our attention every few seconds. Our ability to sustain focus has been completely shattered. But in week 2, that damage actually begins to heal. And you're going to see this manifest in your daily life in 3 distinct ways. First, you begin to rebuild your concentration. Without constant stimulation, reading a physical book suddenly feels easier. Studying or working becomes noticeably more productive. Second, you complete tasks with way less effort because your mind isn't constantly exhausting itself searching for the next distraction. And third, you experience a natural return of creativity. When your brain isn't busy consuming endless content, it finally has the empty space required to just think. New ideas appear naturally. You start spotting opportunities and solutions that were always right there, but you completely ignored them. Which brings us to week 3, better sleep. Now, this brings us to one of the most profound physical transformations of this entire detox journey. You feel incredible physical relief, and a deeply natural rest cycle finally takes over. I mean, think about how most people use their phones right before they close their eyes. But the blue light radiating from that screen actively blocks your brain's production of melatonin, which is the absolutely crucial hormone responsible for helping you fall asleep. By simply putting the device away, your body's allowed to follow its natural biological sleep cycle again. The result? You fall asleep faster, you sleep so much more deeply, and you actually wake up feeling truly refreshed instead of groggy and tired. And fixing your sleep triggers a massive cascade of holistic health benefits. Because you're resting naturally, you'll see an improved memory. Your daily mood stabilizes and improves. Your immune system even gets stronger. And perhaps most importantly, you experience significantly reduced stress. You just feel far calmer. And that's largely because you are no longer being bombarded and overwhelmed by a constant stream of information and alerts from the literal moment you wake up. All right, the final stretch. Week 4, reclaiming time. This is the ultimate, massive reward of a month-long digital detox. By week 4, the transformation is undeniably obvious, and you discover you have something that almost everyone in the modern world wishes they had more of: 150 hours. Let's do the striking mathematical reality of this real quick. Imagine simply spending 5 fewer hours on your phone every single day. Over the course of a 30-day month, that adds up to over 150 extra hours. That is a staggering amount of time that previously just vanished into thin air. So, what could you do with 150 extra hours a month? The possibilities are literally life-enriching. You could easily exercise daily. You could read piles of books. You could learn an entirely new language. You could dedicate that time to building a new business. Or, honestly, most importantly, simply spend high-quality, uninterrupted time with your family. Most people never realize how much of their actual finite life quietly disappears through the endless scroll. Now, I want to be very, very clear about something. The true goal here is to regain control over your attention. This explainer is not here to tell you that smartphones are inherently evil. They aren't. They're absolutely amazing tools that help us learn, communicate, and solve problems at lightning speed. The real danger only begins when the tool starts automatically controlling the user instead of the user intentionally controlling the tool. The goal isn't to throw your device into the ocean forever. It's to stop letting every moment of boredom become an automatic excuse to unlock a screen. It all comes down to the core philosophy of this whole detox. Whatever receives your attention eventually shapes your life. I want you to really let that sink in. Your attention is one of the most valuable assets you own in this world. Choosing exactly where to direct that attention is the fundamental purpose of this entire exercise. If your attention is constantly fragmented by digital noise, well, your life becomes fragmented. So how do you actually apply this? If 30 days feels entirely impossible right now, just follow 3 super practical steps. First, acknowledge the automatic habit. Just notice when you're reaching for the phone without thinking. Second, start small. Put the phone in another room for just 1 hour a day. That's it. Because third, as we know, small intentional habits create massive changes over time. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start taking back small pockets of your day. So we end right where we began. Could you survive 30 days without your smartphone? 30 days from now, you could still be trapped in that exact same endless cycle of scrolling. Or you could be healthier, vastly more focused, more productive, and deeply connected to the real world around you. The choice of where to direct your attention is entirely yours. So what's it going to be?